My name's Andrei Crisan. My alias is Kumubu, and I'm from Romania, Cluj-Napoca. And I was born and raised there. I moved from an early age, and I've been living in Canada for 20 years. But pretty much, we're just white Eastern European. But I do have very small trace amount of Roma, or like Gypsy. So from an early age, I loved dancing. So that's where I had my passion for music, and I always had like a musical ear. But my first piece of music I released was actually with a hip hop collective called Yin Yang Clan. And we were active for about 2 years, but then we ran into some legal issues with our producers, and that ended that. And the pandemic hit, and then I found myself with a bunch of time on my hands, so I used that to learn how to produce mostly electronic music or dance music. So the genres that I mostly do are lo-fi house, tech house, minimal. I like really kind of like Eastern European. The beat is pretty repetitive. It doesn't change every 8 bars, it changes every 16. As for style, how it sounds, I have a lot of people telling me that they hear kind of like 80s inspired instruments. So I do use like the TB303 that has like the acid bass sound, and like the 909 that has like that classic drum machine that was used that defined house music. Romanians are really they really like minimal. They actually have one of the biggest minimal scenes in the world, and because of my Romanian heritage, I find myself a lot of times, like when I make my music, I picture a Romanian crowd and I think, oh, how would they react to this? You know, would they like it? Would they like have a sting face on? So a lot of times I kind of use that to like, you know, put myself in the perspective of a Romanian crowd. So I find myself like often kind of going towards like the whole minimal influence that Romanians really like. So for artists, I really like Joko, Sweely. Yeah, there are quite a few that are in Europe, and they really influenced me in my music. They also have that kind of classic 80s house vibe to them, so that's maybe why I kind of lean towards liking them. As culture affects music, like for example, if I think about house, so house music, how it actually kind of became to be was that in Detroit, there was like the time of segregation, and a lot of white people were leaving, and you had all these people that kind of like weren't really welcomed by like the white majority, so to speak, and they would find refuge in this place called the Warehouse, where they basically, you know, remixed and sampled music and made what they would, that's why they called it house, because it was at this venue called the Warehouse. And because they had so many like vacant places because people were leaving, they were setting up these clubs and having these gigs, and it was a place where you could basically go and dance and not be judged. And you had a large population of gay, trans, black, Hispanic, all types of culture. So it was really like culturally diverse. And yeah, a lot of things, I guess, shaped that culture and that music. A lot of things happening, you know, at that time in history, yeah. I have released music on all streaming platforms and stuff, but as of right now, I think like for my next projects, like these ones have better quality compared to like all the other ones I've had. I'm kind of trying to make more quantity and then pick the best ones out of how many I make. So yeah, but because I feel like these ones are better than the ones I've done before, I'd like to see if I invest a little bit of money in them, if they can go the extra mile, or if I have to, you know, it's all kind of throwing it out there and see what sticks.